Hello, my name is Abraham. As you can tell by the thing, I am a 3D environmental artist and I specialize in world building and level design. I intend to basically go anywhere that needs environmental art. So architecture, the film industry, the video game design industry, the marketing industry, the real estate industry, the construction industry. I've just been applying and getting my foot into door into all those different areas, into any area that can use my skill set. For the studios that I've been looking for, been looking at Crystal Dynamics, Epic Games. I've been looking at Uncharted Entertainment. I've been looking at Templar Media, and I really intend what I would really love to work for. I would love to work for Naughty Dog as an environmental artist for Naughty Dog. It's my favorite studio. To work for them would be a dream come true. Um, but onto the demo reel. So here is the demo reel that is within the website, and there's specifically three projects that I do want to talk about. So this is not one of them. Not Ski Resort. Not Ski Resort. Ski Resort is not one of the projects I want to talk about. Pretty. And now I want to talk about. I want to talk about. Here it is. Sci-fi world. Sci-fi environmental world. So let's go back. There we go. So I want to talk about this, and this world, as pretty as it looked, there was one key problem when I was designing it. I never made a sci-fi world before. At this stage of my career, I didn't know how to make a sci-fi world. This is my very first one. So I had to learn on the fly within the span of 2 weeks how to make a sci-fi world. And I did a pretty good job. But I had to do heavy research on what sci-fi fans wanted and like what actually truly made stuff feel sci-fi. Once I just had to start experimenting with the script that I was given, and started I started doing stuff because I finally recognized if this is sci-fi, I'm allowed to just do whatever. Because in the realm of sci-fi, it can get away with it. So sci-fi world 2 weeks. Let's level designer because at the time when I made this, it was supposed to be a walkthrough, but it's really environmental artist, whatever the role is. I did do everything myself. The assets are from Sketchfab. I did take from Sketchfab, but I customized and messed with all of them using materials and particle effects and all that to create my own stuff. Um, as you can see, off rip, you can just tell by this screenshot, you are somewhere you're not supposed to be. Like you have crash landed on this area, which is what I wanted people to feel, but I wanted people to feel that it was slightly familiar to them, right? All this was made in Unreal, as you can tell. Lighting, rendering, modeling, and materials are done in Unreal, and this does fit the 3D environmental artist and level design and wall design pipeline. So yeah, the biggest issue I found around with this was how do I make a sci-fi wall, and I figured it out, and it came out very well. Here's the workflow. It's mainly just blueprints. It's blueprints and materials. That's how I got all of this stuff. It's just blueprints and materials. The most important materials. Here's the sky material. Here's the parent for that one. Right, you made material instance of it. That's how I got the sky. And then other important materials. Uh, the alien languages and the tourist materials. These just a panner, texture, and multiplies, and that's literally it. That's how I achieved the materials on the walls and within the stuff, right? Pretty cool. So then the next project, very next project that I want to talk about, Turbo G Records. Where is it? Come here, Turbo G Records. Here it is, Turbo G Records. So this was a racing game, and I dove further into the sci-fi genre, get further into that market, and now I'm hitting the cyberpunk audience. So this is a cyberpunk racing game. Set in the underground, set in the slums. I was responsible for designing the entire track and the entire city, and I was responsible for placing down all of the assets. Everything you see on screen is me. Everything on screen is me. I am responsible for. So I was purely the level designer for this game. And my philosophy when it comes to level design is that I prioritize gameplay first over the prettiness and detail of the levels. So once the game is smoothly working. Like when I originally made this track, it's a circle track. Um, when I placed out all the assets and stuff, I make sure the speed boost actually didn't clip you through the ground. Make sure the checkpoints, because I programmed the checkpoints as well, the entire checkpoint system. Make sure that the checkpoints don't send the player through. This is how the level used to look. This is what it very first looked like, the very first draft back in August. Here's how it looked in a week. This is how it looked after 1 week. And then I was just like, okay, we getting somewhere. This is how it looked after a month. It took a month to reach this part, so this is how it looked in September, right? And then now we reach the October point. So this October point, this is how the level looked from October to December. From October to December, this is how the level looked. As you can see, we're very slowly getting to what you saw in the demo reel. Very, very slowly. And then this point, this is how the level looked in March. So this is how the level looked in March. So the demo reel was the finale April version of the game. This is the March version of the game. So, very, 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 it was a process. It was a process. The similar problem to this level, I ran into a similar problem just like Sci-Fi World. I did not know how to make a sci-fi world. I made this simultaneously along with sci-fi world, so I had to learn how to do that. And also, I never worked with cyberpunk before either, so I had to do a lot of research on what makes a cyberpunk world feel like a cyberpunk world. So, I ended up discovering that it's stuff like propaganda, the signs, the trash, the destroyed cars, the stuff on fire, the not emptiness of it, but like this dystopian feeling, but it's futuristic. So I got through it, and very very nice, very cool level, very cool team. It was me and four other people who designed that, and I was a programmer, not programmer. I was head level design, only level designer actually. So then the third one I want to talk about is post-apocalyptic environmental level design. So as the name says, it's a post-apocalyptic world. It's a fighting game. So once again, my philosophy was gameplay first and then make it look pretty later. So 1, 2, 3 enemies surrounds the player. Some light. Everything in here has physics, so everything in here can be pushed around, destroyed, except the pool table and the bar, of course, and the jukeboxes. But I wanted this abandoned bar, which is a reference to a real life bar that was abandoned in 1994 because the water got contaminated. And then I wanted, I just wanted the player to feel that sense of abandonedness. Straight Unreal Engine. All of my works is within Unreal Engine. All of my lighting is within Unreal Engine. The only things that are not from within Unreal Engine is the static, is these assets. So a lot of these assets are taken from Sketchfab. Even these characters and models are taken from Sketchfab. However, with these characters, I did use AccuRig to rig them and implement them into the game. The main challenge with this level was actually this outside section because I didn't know how to make a dystopian outside world. So I had to look at The Last of Us to see how they accomplished that feeling. And it really came down to vegetation. Vegetation is what the overgrown vegetation is what gives off that feeling of abandoned, chaotic outside world. So I was like, oh, okay, I see. So I started adding in the vegetations everywhere. Here's the final boss. Here's the final boss with his minions out and stuff like that. Very, very, very cool. Once again, the workflow for this, no, not that level. The workflow for this was mainly just blueprints, blueprints, and materials, and So yeah, those are the three most important pieces that highlight my skill at taking stuff that is familiar but making something unique with it and blending in different elements of our histories and our worlds. And yeah, I'm my immediate steps is I'm applying for internships. I'm applying for positions within the state, and that's within driving distance of the state. I've been connecting with people. I've been getting my foot in the door with people within architecture, film, marketing, IT, real estate. I've just been connecting, and I'm also getting new hardware as well. I'm um I'm investing in a stronger PC. I'm investing in getting access to Maya and Substance Painter to officially own for myself. And I'm also applying for the MFA program